Hey guys, Eddie, aka Kind Spark here. Yeah, I'm not feeling great, a little under the weather right now, but I still wanted to give a year-end review because I haven't really been uploading a lot of videos. But I've been up to a lot, right? So finally got some art, some gameplay, some level ish stuff for Project Albatross. My job is starting to take game development a little bit more seriously, so like I've hosted a game jam this year. I've got another game jam I'm playing next year, and a whole committee to make games now at my work. And now I released I released a mobile game to do some testing. So we've got a lot to talk about. I'm obviously gonna make sure there are timestamps in the description to even it pad it out a little bit so you guys are having to listen to the whole thing at once. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get started with the weirdest thing that I want to talk about, and that's the fact that I released a mobile game not too recently, or recently, and it's a it is a match 3 game that I'll be honest, I'm probably gonna title this video something like "I cheated and made a penny," or game dev is more expensive than you think, because for the match 3 game, I feel like I cheated a little bit. I originally made my own match 3. It's actually not that hard to make a match 3 game, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I took the base from Code Monkey's match 3 project. Most of the UI I got from packages, and I don't know. I feel weird about those things. Most of the UI and enemy model or enemy sprites I got from like Unity packages. That being said, all of the code other than for the match 3 is mine. Like, I modified a lot of stuff so that we could do multiple game modes. I think in the original project it was like there was a score mode and a glass break. So I just added a time attack and a enemy as well as a boss rush level. I added a level selector. It took me way longer to do that level selector than you think. Like, I wanted it in kind of a V pattern, but I wanted to make sure that it was generating them on the fly instead of me having to place every single button. And that took significantly longer than you think. Like, that was a surprise, because originally I wanted it to be like a path, right? I wanted it to go left, right, left, right, left, right. But I shouldn't curse, I guess, but I messed it up, and it ended up turning out even better because it's a V. But then after every so I'll just clarify, it's scored in runs. So like every time you do a boss, you've completed a run. But the game gets significantly harder every level you defeat. So I added items that you can buy for gold, and of course gold you can get by either watching an ad or by completing a lot of levels. I think I might nerf the price of a lot of these items because the levels seem a little too hard sometimes. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, essentially, I think that's more or less the game. I really made it so that I could test out how to do like ads, and like how to monetize on mobile, because I'm planning on doing something next year that requires me to kind of understand how monetization works. And what I learned is, I know I shouldn't curse, but fuck Iron Source, right? Iron Source sucks, and I hate it. But it's ironic because it's also very easy to implement. It's easy to implement, but the website is not very intuitive if you want to use documentation. And a lot of the weird errors you get are not easy to fix. They're hard to find solutions for. And most of the forums are, I guess most of the forum posts are old, and people are like, how do I fix this thing? And it's not not very helpful. It took me a lot longer than it should have, is all I'm going to say. Or it feels like it took me a lot longer than it should to fix a lot of the issues it did. So I recommend, use the legacy advertisement if you can. Iron Swoosh is alright if you really want to learn it, but it's been a pain. But yeah, that was that project. I've made a grand total of 1 penny from it because I didn't want to like bombard people with ads, right? I hate ads. I do. I hate ads. I hate monetize. I hate the idea of monetizing with ads. But I wanted to do something that wasn't super predatory. And so I've just put a banner at the bottom and then a reward ad that gets you gold. So both like the more intrusive one is optional, and the less intrusive one is at the bottom of the screen where you don't have to see it. So obviously I'm not gonna make any real money off of that. The app is currently sitting at 1K downloads, but you have to remember that I'm also using Google Ads to make sure people can actually see the game and play it. That's something I learned pretty early on too. Is that Google Ads is actually super useful. If you're making apps and you want players, just pay for Google Ads. Don't be a dick, right? I know that's gonna sound weird, but I feel like most people like a marketing budget should be part of your normal budget, and you should be making sure that you're actually paying for ads. You want people to play the game. But that's neither here nor there. So I guess I'll move on to the other cool thing that happened to me this year. So, as some of you guys know, I am a librarian, and I love my job so much that I don't plan on quitting it until I make too much money. Right? Like, right now, game dev is really just a hobby for me. I've tried looking for jobs in game dev, but honestly, I've enjoyed being a librarian. But one thing they don't tell you as a modern librarian is that most of the things that I do is basically as a civil servant, right? I don't actually do a lot of shushing people. We're not going around telling people to shut up nowadays. It's really more of how can I help the community? How can I bring How can I bring more like how can I promote wellness in the community? And so what I did this year is I held my first game jam. It went very poorly. Well, it didn't go poorly. So what happened during the game jam? I had never planned a game jam. This is the first event that I've ever planned that was actually going to be more than a day long, right? So I did not realize how much planning I needed to do, really. And so I just thought, oh, we'll just have meetings every week, and people can go to them, and then da 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 da, blah 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 blah. So the first meeting we had like 4 people show. We had 3 people show up. 4 people show up. 3 of whom were players, and 1 of whom was going to be a mentor. I messed the scheduling up, and so like the mentor came late. All the players came, but then we were basically sat around for an hour talking, which was really cool. But then there was not a lot to be done because as a library, we don't have like we don't really have the resources to we do and don't have the resources to just have you make games, right? We really don't have a ton. We only recently got laptops and computers. Most of them can't run stuff like Unity or Unreal, so it's mostly like, maybe we can. Up until all the things happened this summer with Unity, I think a lot of people didn't know what Godot was, so they weren't. If I had suggested it, what I wanted to suggest, which was, hey, why don't you learn Godot in June or March, people would have looked at you weird. It was not until all that stuff happened with Unity that I think a lot of people realized how powerful, not even powerful Godot is, but really how important it is to find an alternative to the tool you're using, just in case something were to happen to your tool. And so that happened, and we got 30 people, as far as I know, part of the Discord, but I don't really know how many people participated, realistically. Like, I know people were making games. I know there are a couple of the people who I talked to on a regular basis and checked up on, they were making games. They were actively trying. And even though we didn't get any submissions this year, I know that next year I'm gonna try to actually tutorialize and actually post some how to do design stuff, how to make a document, how to plan, and all that stuff next year, so that people can get more acclimated. Because we got a lot of beginners. If you don't know, the city I live in, there's not a massive game dev community, right? There, a lot of people are interested in it. A lot of people want to get involved in it, and we have some very talented game developers here. But there's not like it's not like if you go to Cali, we can't have a party with like 300 people, all of whom have different specialties, and they're all networking with one another. I think it's mostly like you're not going to find professors at the university who sponsor these massive game dev events with hundreds of people. You know, it's not that big, and that's fine. I think that suits the city perfectly well. But I think what I want to do as a librarian, just as a person, is to get more people into game development. So that's why I'm going to keep going with the game jam. We're going to try again next year with a little bit some iterative changes. And speaking of my job, I'm now technically a game developer as well, I guess. We have a committee at work that does game development now, and I'm not going to talk more about that because it's very interesting. But last but not least, Project Albatross. So Project Albatross, if you don't know, because I think I've privated a lot of the videos at this point, is a action RPG that I've been trying to develop for a long time now. I think it's gone through several different iterations. I was probably gonna go through a couple more iterations, but I've really enjoyed working on it for the last couple of years. It's kind of kept me sane, really. But it's become bloated in a sense because it's something that I really want to do, but I don't have all the talent for myself. I think I made a video one time that was like, I'm gonna learn how to make 3D models in order to do this, and my art skills are abysmal. Like they're very bad. And it's not just because I don't practice, because I don't practice it. I don't have the, I don't know, I don't have the brain for it, I guess. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not complaining. I think it's really cool that some people would have that. But I think realistically speaking, I did. I hired out for people to help me with 3D models, for people to help me with 2D art, and for writing. Now, granted, writing kind of fell through. Art at first fell through, but I have someone on Fiverr, and I'm gonna probably put it up on the screen right now. Some of the really cool art that I got, and I also want to do a special shout out to someone I met. His name is Tenoir. I'm gonna say pronounce his name. If you're watching this, please correct me. He's a really cool guy. He really helped me with 3D modeling the first stage we have, which is a dream stage. There's a lore reason for why it's the way it is, the way it is. But I'm not going to get into that right now. If you guys want to know more about Project Albatross, I plan on making videos about it. But I will say for right now, probably at least for next year, it's probably going to go on hiatus because it is a very expensive project. Because I only really do programming, and I can't, like, I'm not doing the animation or the models, and it's a 3D hack and slash game based like with inspiration from Kingdom Hearts. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that by myself. At least me personally. I know there are some really cool devs doing Kingdom Hearts type games. God, there's two of them that hold on, let me see. There's two of them that I can't think of the top of my head that are really dope. I think it's Blood Crisis and Luminous Realms. Blood Crisis and Luminous Realms are two amazing Kingdom Hearts type games that I'm going to probably draw inspiration from, at least pretty soon. I haven't played Blood Crisis, but Luminous Realms has a Discord, and if you guys want to join Luminous Realms, I'm going to leave it in the description. Or on the pinned comment, or one or the other. But yeah, no. But as far as Project Albatross, if you want to play the last version of it, Project A, it's on my itch, and I will go ahead and let you guys see some of it in a minute. All right, and this right here is Project Albatross as of August, I believe. This is the final build that we settled on in August. As you can tell, I'm not worried about it looking particularly pretty or anything. It's more focused on getting the combat right, but I believe a lot of the materials and whatnot are broken now in this build, and I think that's why I stopped using it. 3D action game, duh, so we do 3D action stuff. Bottom right is our player's icon, health, courage, and what current stance we're using. As you can tell, we get 3 different stances. They're represented by colors, and they do 3 different combos as well. They're supposed to also give you different buffs and bonuses that hadn't been implemented just yet in August, but that was something I was planning on doing. That might get cut, actually. And then where's the third stance at? I think I showed both of them. On the left, you got our action menu. As you can tell, we borrowed a lot of it, at least the keyboard and mouse version, from the command menu of Kingdom Hearts. But then for keyboard for controller, I'm using more of a D-pad menu, because I don't think that really works well for controller. Each action has sub actions, so you can choose 4 different sub actions per action. So spells and bursts are unlocked, but then team attacks, and then I believe the last one was union, like spirit stuff. But as you can tell, we're doing spells and whatnot. Like I said, the materials are broken for the spells. Bursts use courage, spells are on a timer. Team attack requires teammates, and then union is like in-game stuff, like reaction stuff. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm moving around with the controller, jumping around, moving the camera. I might do a couple combats. I pre-recorded all this stuff, so I just wanted to show you guys what it was. Yeah, like I said, the materials broke a while back, and so like I have not fixed those materials just yet. Plus, like I said, if you guys want to play this, it's up on my itch. I think I was implementing the wall run still, and it looks so janky. I don't think it works in this version of it, but I think it works in my current build. Like, not my current build, but my current editor build, I guess. But either way, it's like whatever. I think a couple things. The health indicator for enemies also broke. So yeah, there was a lot of things that needed to be fixed by the time I put this down in around August. These are the controls again, and we got a bag. We've got our player party, skills, commands, controls, settings, and whatnot. The controls, they're like, those are the elements plus bursts, your physical skills, and then of course your controls like volume and muting. I didn't include the music in this, and I'm now realizing I should have. My friend Wayne, he did some music for the game. I think I used one of the tracks. Don't think I used the other one, but that's Project Albatross as of August. Link in the description below. Thank you guys again for watching. I really appreciate your view. If you want, you can like and subscribe. You don't have to. Do leave a comment. I love getting suggestions. I love input, and I love meeting new people. But that being said, I don't make a lot of devlogs anymore, and I feel like I should, but it also feels like I don't work a regular schedule when it comes to game development. So there really usually isn't too many things to update anyone on until I have a burst one weekend, and I do a lot. But yeah, anyway, I really appreciate you guys sticking around for so long, and peace.